What is up, everybody? Rob back here with match number 5 in my Modern Green Stompy deck, the 20-ticket, $100 beatdown deck that we are currently 3-1 with in these modern two-mans. It's been performing pretty well. It is pretty fast, and we've only really played against, I guess, one true Tier 1 deck. We played against humans, but so far, I mean, the consistency of this deck is really where it shines. I mean, if you have a good curve and your opponent fumbles at all, we're going to get the W. So this, unfortunately, is going to be a mulligan. No lands is not a good time. This is a much better hand. We have turn 1 play into a good turn 2 with Strangler Rootgeist. We could potentially go Pelt Collector, probably, just because it gives us Trample sooner or Regeneration Protection. It's kind of the choice here between these two. Pelt Collector and Strangler Rootgeist has a fun interaction just because when they die, it gets pumped up. So definitely going to keep this Rancor. That doesn't do what we want right now, so we're going to put that on the bottom. And a really good draw for us right now would be even a Dryad Militant, because we could go Experiment 1 on turn 1, turn 2, go Pelt Collector into Dryad Militant, which would bank these both 2/2s, and then on turn 3, we could either just bash in for 8 with the Strangler Rootgeist and have Aspect of Hydra to pump our team up a lot if we draw this second, or the additional land. Okay, so one of our early plays here is gonna get trashed. Kind of tricky. I mean, I feel like these would all be similar choices to pick. These two are probably a slightly bit harder to get rid of, but I mean, not much. Now, we could be going up against like The Rock or Jund or Abzan or something like that, which we haven't gone up against, and I feel like that's a bad matchup for us, but we haven't had it yet, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, our opponent has taken a while. I also don't know what the optimal pick here would be. If I had to guess, yeah, just the ability to regenerate eventually is just slightly more annoying. I mean, I have a feeling they're probably going to Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt the other stuff we have, but who knows? Well, it never feels good when you mulligan and then have to discard, but you do what you got to do. All right, so if we draw a land and our opponent does nothing, we got Strangler Root into Steel Leaf, which is a pretty good little curve. All right, let's see what we're doing here. They playing some real decks? Are they doing some spicy brews? There's that. Ooh, maybe they're doing the Black-White Devotion. That's a Myth Realized. Man, we are just going up against some brews. People love these little counter decks. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on Myth Realized. Put a lore counter on Myth Realized until end of turn. Myth Realized becomes a monk avatar creature in addition to its other types and gains this creature's power and toughness are equal to the lore counter. All right. Doesn't seem great, but whatever. Let's not count them out yet. I don't really know what they're doing exactly. That seems like it would be a good Jeskai card, thus it being a Jeskai card. So these two colors, I mean, they could have Path to Exiles, Thought Seizes, Inquisitions, Fatal Pushes. There's a lot of cheap, effective, and powerful cards in those colors. So, I mean, I guess it could attack for 2, or block is a 2. It'd be pretty good. All right, yeah. So the more they shock themselves and stuff like that. Monastery Mentor. Okay. So I feel like Mr. Steelleaf here is going to be very good. All right, rad. So our opponent only has 3 cards in hand. Pelt Collector is safe here. I don't care if Strangleroot dies. Next turn, our Aspect of Hydra on Steelleaf Champion is lethal if they can't kill stuff, so that's not bad. Legion's Landing. Ooh, that's interesting. Too bad it's a 1/1. Okay, so if they play a ton of spells, they could potentially create a blocker for Steelleaf Champion. That's a bummer. So we're definitely losing Aspect of Hydra here. So they have a 1 creature with lifelink. So if I were them, I would probably just bash in, yeah, because they know I'm not gonna, I don't want that trade. So they have 1 card in hand. Path to Exile and Fatal Push for sure is their best. I probably should keep that in my hand just to potential. Okay, so we're just going to do this because it's the safe play. Can't be blocked. Play the Ooze, pass the turn. Now, our opponent, I don't know what their deck's going to do. It can potentially do some silly shit. Okay, so they're going to get a bunch of little guys. Sacrifice a creature, scry 1, but it costs 1, and they get 1. So they could sack something to get something. I mean, it's definitely a cool deck. There's definitely some cool synergy stuff going on here. I don't really know what they technically just ramped me. So they're going to go to 5. What could they possibly do that would make blocking a bad decision here? I'm not sure, but I'm not going to. Okay. Apparently they, I mean, technically they could have blocked here or with their Myth Realized. All right. So they had a bunch of enchantments. Unfortunately, I don't really have enchantment removal. I don't have like Back to Nature or anything like that. Do we just run it back? It seems like our deck is fine against them. I guess Damping Sphere. I guess is that even worth it? I mean, they didn't really multiple spells. It's not like they were trying to go off like a storm or something like that. I mean, Beast Within gives them Beast instead of one of their enchantments, but I think we can probably just race them. Let's run it back. Let's see if their game 2 is a little more dangerous or aggressive or something like that. But this is a fine keep. Got 3 mana, which is what we always want. Experiment 1, Avatar the Resolute, Rancor, Protection Pump. We're doing pretty good here. So, ooh, the opponent on the Mull to 5. Welcome to the club. So, I guess their hand wasn't great. Legion's Landing, sure. Man, feels like we're playing friggin' arena. A deck with this few lands and we keep drawing them. I mean, I'll take it. So, let's see. I think a Dryad Milton would be a pretty sweet draw right now because we could go Experiment 1, Dryad Milton, evolve both of the Experiment ones, and then the next turn our Avatar of the Resolute will be huge. Okay, it's kind of aggressive. All right, or we just flood. So let's go Experiment 1. Let's go Rancor. This way, next turn, our Avatar doesn't necessarily benefit from it, but we do pump both of our Experiment 1s. And there's still a small chance we draw our Dryad Militant, pump both of these, then play Avatar. Still a chance there. Thoughtseize, gonna take our Avatar, I am sure. So we've already drawn like half the land in our deck. So basically any of our 2+ toughness creatures, because we want over 1 toughness, not necessarily the power here. That's another difference between Experiment 1 and Pelt Collector. Pelt Collector, the toughness is the main thing you're looking for, whereas here on Experiment 1, the evolve trigger is power or toughness, which does become relevant when you're using things like Rancor or something else that would pump stuff. All right, so they're going to be scrying and making 1/1s, which is fine, I guess. This is not what I want to do, but I would much rather get in for more than 5 damage, but 5's fine. I'm not complaining about 5 damage here and there. So, let me see. What am I concerned about? Okay, well, we are 4-1 with modern green Stompy. We are playing against a lot of brews, but I mean, we're playing a brew ourselves. So that's 4-1. We're gonna keep this baby rolling. See you guys in match 6.